Sue Ellison, you have something called Gigsters. So this is your second appearance at Open Mic.
Yes.
Setting up the video camera.
Oh, just the photo camera this
Oh,
time.
the photo. All right, everyone please welcome Sue.
Thank you, Kev and Les. Yes, my name's Sue Ellison. My career started 6 days after my last Year 12 exam at Westpac in Adelaide. And I had the opportunity to come to Melbourne, got a job, found out I was pregnant and got sacked. And so I thought, okay, I'm 28 years old. I couldn't find a job while I was pregnant. As soon as my daughter was born, I was back in demand. And I thought, this is crazy. I'm a 28-year-old breastfeeding woman. What's going to happen when I hit 40? And so it made me realise that there's no such thing as a secure career. So basically I haven't had a real job since 1994, which is a great disappointment to my family who expected me to have a real job. And so I quite often say that I don't have a real job. In 2016, I wrote and self-published 3 80,000-word books in 9 months on 120 ways to achieve your purpose with LinkedIn, attract the right career or business, and market your business hyperlocally. And I wanted to give people the opportunity who don't follow the traditional career path a way to describe themselves without being considered to be hopeless because they took on the creative journey. And so the word I came up with was gigsters, because as artists you go from gig to gig to gig. And so the word gigsters for me is somebody who uses technology to attract aligned gigs. So this book, Gigsters, is the story of my journey and the way of being able to exist as a woman for all these years without a real job. And I wrote it for any age or ability employees. So these are the little symbols that I have to describe people who are employees, on experts or entrepreneurs. And it was a finalist in the Australian Career Book Award. But I also write poetry. So when I was writing the first one, there was this really great advertisement on Spotify for Victoria University, which I put in the front of the book, which meant that I had to write a poem in all the rest of the books. So I'd like to share 3 poems from the Gigsters book. The first one at the end or after the introduction is called Choices. I am more than the sum of my choices, and so much more than I was before. Now is the time for me to reflect on my values, to redesign, co-create and explore. The next one is about the future, or it's called Future. To be self-determining or other-determined, it is up to you to choose. And if you don't make the effort, you may find that you just lose. And this one was actually read out in a webinar or a podcast that I was in, and I was really surprised that somebody had picked it out of the book. It's called Success. To linger longer, to reflect and review, to measure and assess, to see a different view, to change and adapt, to remember and remind, to succeed a little more, say thanks and be kind. So on the journey of writing a book, I go to lots of events, and I heard Michael Leunig speak. And he said something that has resonated to me ever since. And he said, just be your own kind of peculiar. And this book was really about allowing you to be your own kind of peculiar. Now, the journey of being an author is not an easy one. And I was told on the journey that why do you write a book? Because it gives you thud value. So it's better than a business card. And so it's fabulous to write a book, but you've got to keep going. And so I continue to publish. And I just share a final story of what happened to me this week. Was I do produce a webinar every month on the topic of LinkedIn, and somebody found that video on YouTube. He's an Australian who's living in Mumbai, and he just automatically made an appointment and booked a session and will be continuing to work with me. So I want to remind all authors, don't just write your book, please keep publishing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. That was actually very, very encouraging for authors who might be listening and thinking about the landscape and where they should go. I mean, one of the number one conversations we have is why publish. And I think, you give some really good reasons why people need to get their stuff out there and keep writing and keep publishing, because in this industry, a lot of people here, why do you do it? Doesn't seem much of a reward. Another author's just wandering up to the mic here. Oscar.